to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taman.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taman.
Hey everybody, welcome once again to another episode of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. So I guess since I opened up my mouth first, that means I'm hosting this little duet between Jesse and myself. Keith is on our COVID-19
he's on the injury
reserve
report.
list. He's on the injury report. And I'm telling you what, dude, after that last text I got where he says he can't stop coughing, go get tested. Don't fuck around.
No
Go
shit.
get tested. Don't fuck around. Anyway, we wish him the best. And, you know, we didn't do a show on the other night because I had all of a sudden some family shit that needed to be done. And we didn't do a show the last time. I didn't do a show the last time because I didn't have COVID, but man, I wish I did compared to what I had. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I ate a bad oyster or whatever.
What were you doing the Egyptian?
The Egyptian.
It was coming out of both ends at the same time.
Thank God the tub is closed. Never mind. I'm not going to get even close. All right. Well, we started off the show on a disgusting note. We're hoping that everybody is still with us after that. A little more information about me than you needed. So, yeah, man, that game was an absolute fucking disaster.
Yeah, I mean, look. What were people expecting? I mean,
I don't know.
It came out better than I thought it was going to be. I mean,
They fought.
Yeah, once the news that Heineke and both Allen were not playing, I mean, you couldn't expect anything more whatsoever.
I could expect my dogs
to stop barking.
My dogs, of course, as soon as I start anything.
But look, this game, I mean, we got out to a 10-0 lead, and I think the whole Washington football world was shocked. I certainly was. I was like, okay, but
yeah, you can build on that kind of shit.
Yeah, but as the game, wore on, you could tell that we didn't have our good stud star players there, and it showed.
It doesn't matter. It became painfully obvious that our quarterback was giving his daughter a bath when he got the phone call last week to tell him that he was ready to come and play. Yeah, no, I don't care. He stood in there valiantly. He made a couple of nice throws. I got
nothing. I got no bad things to say about Garrett Gilbert. He did the best that he could, and for him coming in, 4 days earlier.
Yeah, way to make that game check, buddy.
You had to hold your expectations for this game. You just had to, and I'm not mad at it. You can't. I was coming in we were going to lose this game, and I knew we were going to lose. It's not just me saying that we're going to lose the game because I always picked them to lose. I just knew that you could not get your hopes up to win this game whatsoever.
Well, yeah, when you saw that we had that many players on COVID-19 reserve list, even though a number of them came back before the game, even, this is where with people with it, Fire Del Rio, even if they've just come back from it, if they had it, they're not going to be 100% just because they clear, just because it's gone. You're not 100% back, even if you have a cold the next day. You're not like, you're still a little wiped out.
Yeah, I stopped getting on Twitter probably mid fourth quarter when people were starting to say fire Jack Del Rio. He deserves to be fired. And no, for one thing, this is not on him. I mean, you have Landon Collins gimping around, William Jackson III go out. You already have Fuller out. You already have
isn't even there.
Yeah, you already have Cam Curls out. What the fuck do you expect?
Right.
I mean, what do you
there's
expect?
No bottomless well, right? It's remarkable of what they've been able to do with patchwork nothing. I mean, granted they lost on Tuesday. It's fucking Thursday now. My whole week is fucked up now, But they lost that game. But overall, we've been playing with backups all year long, man. And then I think next man up is the theme to this season. And even if we end up missing the playoffs, which is most likely now, I don't know if I'd call it a success or a failure yet. It's still too early to tell. There's a couple of important games left that if we win one or two of these games, we win 2 of these games, I'll say it's a decent season.
Yeah, I will say if Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen were playing this game, I think we would have won this game.
I think so too, because I mean, look, Philly, I got to give them this, man. They put a hat on a hat, as the cliche goes. They manned up and they blocked as well as I've ever seen an offensive line block running plays. Look, man, we're always joking. Somebody said today on Twitter to me that I said I wanted to watch 1883, and one of our, I think it was Scott, said, isn't that the year you were born? That's right. I am an old motherfucker. I remember the Hogs, and trust me, you watched some of it the other night.
Yeah.
That's what we used to look like when we would go out and block for Riggins, or we block for Biner and these guys. They were just manning up, and whatever they do, if they were pulling a trap, or if they were pulling somebody through the hole, or if they were running to the outside, whenever you saw one of our guys look like they were going to go fill, they got picked up immediately, manned up, squared up, and blocked. So sometimes you just got to point to the other team and give them credit, and that's, I think, what needed to be done the other night. They did a good job.
They're the number one running team in the league, and they're number one for a reason. They got a great offensive line and a very good run scheme. And we are good against the run. I think we're third or fourth, or we were third or fourth. But with what we had out there on the field, scheme isn't everything. You got to have the players to run the scheme. You
got to have talent, right? I'll tell you this too, man. Jalen Hurts did some ball fakes the other night. Everybody.
Remember we played him last year when he got mollywopped by fucking Chase Young when he held on to the ball. He's definitely learned his lesson, and he's good. His throws aren't pretty. He's not a very good, I guess, quarterback. Out of the pocket. I mean, we made
knows how to find his tight end.
We made him look good. Cam Curl really hurt us at being out. That really when it came, because he's been doing pretty well covering tight ends, but we just didn't have enough firepower on defense to hold them. I mean, and you can't be mad at that just because they were out. I mean,
there's nothing you can do about that. And at the same time, when you see their defensive line, they feed off of that stuff, and they start to push our offensive line around. And even though our offensive line has played pretty well, we're down to our fourth center, man. He's not going to do, and expect it again this week against the Cowboys. They know where that weakness is, and they're knowing how to get to it. And what it's doing is it's causing your right and left guards to also get mollywopped, as you say, because they're trying to cover for Ismail. I mean, Ismail's not bad, but he's a fourth string center for a reason. It's not because he's fucking awesome, right?
Yeah.
He's going to get beat up by these guys. So, expectation had to be dude, I was making jokes. You asked me if I was drinking before the game. To anybody that still was wondering, fuck yeah, I was making sure I was ready to like halftime, man. I was fucking just fucked up, all this. So I always leave Twitter at halftime anyway, because that's what I did during the 4-game winning streak. It's not like I'm superstitious or anything, but it works.
It didn't work. It didn't work last week.
No, it didn't work last week.
But I mean, listen, like for those who are beating the team up and beating the coaches up because of this loss, just go fuck yourselves, because I mean they did what they could. I mean, with what they had, you can't. You can't shit on this team for that performance, because even with the players that were out there, they played their ass off.
They had a chance. They were still within, they had a chance. If they didn't give up that late touchdown, which you kind of knew they were going to give up, but if they didn't give up that late touchdown, if they had gotten the ball back, they had a real chance, I think. And then maybe Mark Sanchez would have shut his fat fucking Eagles fucking mouth and started to talk. Dude, he was talking about how Jalen Hurts is so heroic coming back off of 12 days rest. And I'm like, dude, our quarterback hasn't played a game in over a year. This dude was bathing his baby daughter in the tub when he got the call from his agent saying, "Where the fuck are you? We signed you to the freaking Washington football team. You're playing."
It was it was irritating. It was irritating to say the least. Listening, both of them. Mark Sanchez was definitely worse, but both of them, like when they didn't have a good play, they were like, "Oh man, they could have." I know. Like, are you serious? Like
when they got a penalty called, Mark Sanchez was literally, "Oh,
yeah,
you can't have a holding there." Like, dude, what the fuck?
It's like they wanted them to like do good, and then whenever we did something good, it was
minimized.
Yeah.
It was minimized. Look, our quarterback was probably looking in the want ads. Somebody said, what's he listening to on his headphones out there? I said he's listening to his fourth class of his real estate license. That's what he's listening to out there. This is who our quarterback is. Not Jalen Hurts, not second round pick who's been a starter all season. Look, when Hurts had a 1st and goal from the Schminch line, my freaking big ass nose could have scored because it was so close, right? And when he piled over the top, like he didn't even have to do anything. He just had to move forward of like an inch and a half. And my God, that fucking announcer was, and it's a touchdown. Like, dude, it's not the Super Bowl. It's the second quarter.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
It was definitely ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But
there's got to be some objectivity. And I know
they're supposed to.
I have know for a fact the president of Fox listens to the show. So listen, dude, we don't want those motherfuckers anymore. They're clearly against our team.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Sanchez got some shit soup in the cafeteria when he was here last, and it's just totally against for that one game.
I was surprised that, like they gave Antonio Gibson a handoff for 4 yards. He didn't turn around and say, when I was a Redskin, I turned around and handed it to Adrian Peterson, and he went 90 yards, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
He's part of the biggest highlight of that entire season.
Didn't Sanchez played for the Eagles, didn't he, for a little while? He was back up there.
He was a backup there. It's not like he's telling stories about Harold Carmichael like he knows him. I guarantee you, if he walked up to Harold Carmichael would look at him and take his hat and sign it and say, "There you go. Don't let me see that on eBay." Fuck him.
Oh shit!
That was the worst part of the night. Honestly, that was the worst part of the night. Was that knowing what was going to happen in the game and seeing us fight at least as valiantly as we did was somewhat satisfying. Yeah, those two in the booth were just awful.
They were awful. Yeah, you can't hate on that loss. You can't. I mean, it's pretty much put our playoff chances in the toilet. But I mean, it is what it is. And to be honest with you too, I'm not one of those people that let's lose to get the best draft pick period.
Yeah, fuck that. You try to win.
It's like this. If we win, great, grand, wonderful. We're going to the playoffs. But if we lose, it's not that like okay, that's okay.
It's not over.
It's not over. We still got a lot to do to build this team.
Well, yeah, and I mean the season's not even over. They've still got an outside chance.
And but it comes down to New Orleans, and New Orleans just got like 10 people on COVID, and including their 2 quarterbacks. So there's still hope.
What the fuck does the Saints have over the Buccaneers, man? They shut out Tom Brady. I can't even remember if I've ever seen that before.
I can't fathom it. I was going into the weekend, I was like, we could still lose a game and maybe 2 and have still a good chance of going to the playoffs. But
I expected the Bucs to take care of business.
Yeah, the New Orleans Saints, the Bucs shit the bed and put
the Saints made him shit the bed.
a nothing burger, 9-0 against Tom Brady. Like,
so that defense, that's twice now that they have totally shut him down.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is that they're doing that's different. I mean, other than what we did, because we shut him down too.
That's true too.
But not like that.
They're going up against a good Miami team that's won 6 in a row. I expect Miami to win that game.
I should hope so, but 7 in a row is tough to do. They are at home, so yeah, I'm going to be rooting hard for Miami.
The Saints got a lot of good players out. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. They're both Simeon and
say that they haven't had a quarterback since Drew Brees retired.
You're totally right about that one. They're being hit hard with COVID. I mean, maybe. I don't know if it's enough players to move their game, but as of right now, it's not looking good for them. So there's still hope. And like I said, it'd be great to make the playoffs twice in a row. But if we don't make the playoffs, I'm not going to be all that upset about it. Just because the circumstances of the season, Right.
You try to win. You don't learn to win by losing. You learn to win by winning. That's as cliche as it gets, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
If teams get used to winning, players get used to winning, and then that means that they get used to the habits that is required to win. They get used to making the plays that are required to win. But for all of you folks that are worried about draft position, obviously we want to go quarterback, right?
Sure.
At least we fans do.
You
When you look at how many teams have taken quarterbacks in the last 2 years that are still picking in that top 10, I don't know that so many of them are really going to be going after.
There will be a quarterback that will be available no matter where we pick.
I would think so.
Of course, the higher draft pick, the better. Whether we draft a quarterback or we use our draft capital for ammunition to trade for a quarterback, say Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, or Aaron Rodgers. Even though I don't think any of them are going to be in play, I don't know if they'll want to come here. But there's options. You got these quarterbacks that are coming in, and we'll, after the season, before the draft, we'll dive into this a lot more. But the better position, the higher draft pick is, you got ammunition, whether you can trade back. And these quarterbacks that are coming out, they're not necessarily top 5 quarterbacks. Draft quarterbacks.
This is where I drop off of this argument. People are, and they've been doing this now for several weeks of this is not a good draft class. And just who do you think on this draft class? You don't know. Nobody knows.
And I'm not, I think this is going to be wind up being a better draft class than last year's, me personally. But the fact that the teams that are picking early, just like you said, they don't need quarterbacks. So there's going to be quarterbacks available in the 12 to 25 range that are, I don't think anybody's going to trade up, like give up 3 first-round picks to trade into, the top 5 for one of these quarterbacks. Because even though I think overall this is going to be a better class, I don't think there's a Trevor Lawrence in this class.
I don't know that you can say anything about Trevor Lawrence right now as it is. Right now, he's got the same number of fucking touchdown passes as Derrick Henry has had over the last 8 weeks. There's your stat. You're
going to have to wait till like year 3 or year 4 to judge Trevor Lawrence. And
I get it.
He came into a shit show. Hopefully, Jacksonville will get their coach. You're right. You're right.
The thing this is where I feel a little bit more of a guy was telling me a couple of days ago, oh, if we don't go get Matt Corral, okay, well, it's a different situation. All right. I'd like to get Matt Corral, but the fact of the matter is maybe what Ron has done by building the roster a little bit more before he brings that quarterback in is he's not putting him in one of those shit shows where he has nothing to work with.
Yes.
And he doesn't have Urban Meyer as a head coach.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean with having to wait to judge on Trevor Lawrence. I still think he can be a good quarterback in this league.
Right. Well, so they're not taking a quarterback. The Jets aren't going to take a quarterback, right? They just took one. Matt Rule with the Panthers, who the fuck knows what he's going to do? The only thing that you can know what Matt Rule is going to do is he's going to fuck up the quarterback position. So don't worry about him.
I think Matt Rule will probably try to trade for Teddy Bridgewater again, most likely.
I think Matt Rule is going to be freshening up his resume if he doesn't fucking wise up, because his quarterbacks, he doesn't know what he's doing with them. He just throws shit at the wall and hopes some of it sticks, right?
Yeah, I like a couple of these quarterbacks that are coming out. I like Pickett. I like Corral. I even like Howell too. Even if we get Malik Willis, I love what he does. And if he can sit for a year or two, I don't think any of these quarterbacks. If we draft a quarterback, I want them to sit for a year. I don't want that. I don't want to throw them. I don't want to throw them out to the wolves. I think quarterbacks are better when they sit and learn for a year.
Well, yeah, and I think what we have seen Tuesday night was we saw our future. Garrett Gilbert will be our starter next year, so he can at least learn how to groom the rookie.
I had my tweets all prepared. I had my tweets all prepared. If he would have won that game, I was going to go.
I was so hoping that Greta Garbo won that game so that we could watch people literally start. Well, what do you think about this? What do you mean? What do you think about this guy? Well, anyway. But I think Heineke will be that guy. So I hope that they're
and that's fine. And that's perfectly fine. Having Heineke as a bridge quarterback next year, as long as they have a plan. And if they draft one, great. If having Heineke one more year, I'm perfectly content with that.
There's a lot of them that are going to be free agents too. Younger guys, Mariota, guys that Ron has shown interest in. We're talking off-season stuff already, but then it's kind of
true.
par for the
That's
course.
true.
When you're using 4 quarterbacks a year, you got to fucking find out who
you got to talk about it. Well, since we're stacking these podcasts and kind of make it a 2-1 because it was kind of a weird week. Let's get on to the Dallas game a little bit.
All right, they're gonna kick our ass.
They're probably will. I see no lies detected whatsoever in that.
Right.
But we do have Taylor Heineke back.
We do have Taylor Heineke back, and we've got what's his name as a kicker. He's only gotten 1 block, so he's doing great.
Cole Holcomb went on the COVID list, so that really sucks.
I hope he should be back by then. I heard that today that Kendall Fuller will likely be back by then.
Hopefully, Cam Curl will be back.
Yeah, we'll need Cam Curl and we'll need Kendall Fuller.
I don't know if Holcomb will be back. It's Thursday.
Yeah,
and he went on the COVID list today.
So Kaliki Hudson, has he come back?
Yeah, but he's injured.
Because I can't think of anybody else.
He's on
David
IR.
Mayo?
Yeah, David Mayo just came back too. But Kaliki Hudson
or whatever his name is.
Yeah, we're going to be hurting in the linebacker room. Cole Holcomb has been he's been one of our best defensive players, and at least for the past 6 games.
After the first 4 weeks, he
Yeah.
really picked it up. After Jeff Bostic stopped telling him where to go, he got a lot better.
Jeff Bostic. John Bostic.
John Bostic. Jeff Bostic. Sorry, Jeff. My fault. I know he listens. Sorry, buddy. John Bostic. As soon as John Bostic stopped telling him how to play linebacker, he did a lot better.
If we could keep this game respectable and not, come out into like a 21-0 lead, deficit, I'll be happy. But we can't expect to go in,
No, not in
this
Dallas.
game.
But look, it's not like they blew out the Giants last week. All right.
No.
And against us, even though they dominated the whole game, like I pointed out on the podcast before, we had our chances. They made mistakes. We just didn't take advantage of them. In Philly the other night, you saw us take advantage.
We did.
An interception came off of his heel. That's a miracle interception. But he caught it.
That should have been a pick six. Oh my goodness.
Referee.
Let me tell you something. That referee, Tony Carenti, he's a good fella, good friend of ours. He goes out there and blows the whistle for the Eagles like he's supposed to.
I will say, the refs last week weren't that bad in the whole grand scheme of things.
That's the way we like you to say it there. It ain't that bad.
Look, we have never won with that guy as our referee.
No, we have.
But no, he wasn't.
But they called it an okay game compared to some of the games that's been called recently. It wasn't that bad. But anyways,
one thing that I really hate to see is when my quarterback is trying to throw the ball and there's people in his face and he's trying to, and it just makes him look like like a goose trying to fly with a broken wing. It doesn't look good at all. And it's just like, oh, Jesus. So anyway, we were talking about the Cowboys.
What I would like, obviously Heineke's going to be back.
Take advantage of their mistakes. Catch interceptions that hit us in the hands.
That's true. That's true. Hopefully we get the majority of our roster back. But what's the deal with what's the deal? I know Gibson's got a toe.
Turf toe. Same thing he had last year. That's a painful thing, man.
That is probably
Well, you could see it. You could see it Tuesday night because after he went out with it and he came back in, every time he tried to cut, he fell down. Yeah, every time he tried to turn upfield, he fell down. And it's frustrating to watch because you can see a crease, you can see a spot where he could cut back and use that block, and he just can't do it. Yeah. So McKissick is out. I don't think is he coming back.
He's on IR. He's on IR.
So he I don't think he can. So this Jonathan Williams.
And we got Jonathan Williams and Patterson.
He hasn't looked bad. Patterson got a touchdown. Williams hasn't. He got some garbage runs. Wasn't bad. He played against the Cowboys and scored a touchdown. He ran that whole drive.
That's true.
And that game wasn't. I think at that point the Cowboys relaxed a little bit. He took a little advantage of it, but he got a carry the other night, and I think he got like 4.5 yards out of it. It wasn't too bad. So the running back position is really that makes me very nervous.
Yeah, well, the defensive back position makes me nervous. I mean, if hopefully Fuller's going to be back. What's going on with William Jackson? I haven't seen any updates on him. Is he out?
I don't know. I haven't seen any actual official word as to what that is yet. Of course, then again, I haven't looked. I'd heard people were talking about maybe it was an Achilles, but I think I'd have heard that. That would have been big news if it was an Achilles.
Yeah. Well, I thought he came back on the sideline and was trying to run and cut before they ruled him out. So I don't know if it was an Achilles. I don't know about that. Then Landon Collins, his injury. I know when he went down, he came back in, but he did not look the same. He was just trying, but I know he went out there just because we were so depleted that we just didn't have anybody else.
I'm not seeing anything about any serious injury for Jackson.
Well, so that's good because we're going up against Gallup, Cooper, and two phones. What's his name?
Well, you got Gallup, you got Cooper, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got
Lamb.
That guy. I called him Brown last time. They have receivers coming out there wazoo.
Yeah. I just don't want this to be like a 42 to 3 game. That's what I don't want.
You gotta, well, for one, you can't turn the ball over because they feast on that shit. They feast on that shit. In my my main money league that I play in for fantasy football, my fucking MVP this year by far has been the Cowboys defense. Holy fucking shit, they rack up the points for me. So you gotta be safe with the ball. And we saw in the last game, they're very opportunistic with the thing. So like when Heineke tries to throw a swing pass, that one that got picked off and taken back for a touchdown got hit twice. Yeah. So they're all swatting at the ball. They're all smacking at the thing. You just have to be real careful about it because they're very aggressive. But that means you can take the top off of them. You just have to get it. You have to lay that motherfucker out there. Here's what I got. I got an idea. How about throw it as far as you can when Terry is 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage? So by the time he gets down to the 30 yards that you can throw it, he'll be open and maybe you can catch him with some running to go. Holy shit, that guy, Greta Garbo the other night threw one up to him. He had to stop and come back.
Oh yeah. He was a good 2-3 yards in front of a Slay. He had him beat. Yeah. He had him like toasted. A red stepchild.
We've been down that road before. My hair's almost gone, but I am what that is. So it's the Cowboys should win the game, but I think that we should give them a fight. And if we can take advantage, because Dak hasn't been right. If we can take advantage,
he hasn't looked good. He has not looked good whatsoever.
That's not outside the realm of possibility that we could pull off an upset. Do you have the lines in front of you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What's the line on that?
I think it's like 10.5. Hold on. It's coming up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
10.5.
10.5. That was the last time yep, 10.5.
Good grief. No respect at all. They know that Gilbert Gottfried's not playing, right?
I mean, it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed since the announcement. Well, that's Sunday. That's a Sunday night shit. That's on national TV too. Jesus fucking Christ.
It's on Sunday night?
Sunday night. Why did they not flex this out?
I don't know. That means I got to put up with Chris Collinsworth being so happy about everything.
I'm glad I got Monday off.
He's so happy about so many things that these guys do that are just so fucking normal. You just got to commend him, Jesse. He puts one foot in front of the other, and before long, he's running.
He takes a handful of Percocets before each game he calls.
Dude's rich as shit, though. You know that?
Yeah.
Burger is loaded. He's smart, but it just doesn't show up. So I didn't realize we were on Sunday night. I hate that.
Yeah, me too. I guess. I mean, it is.
Well, if you're going to shock the world, they have to be able to.
There you go.
So
yeah,
let's go. That's
there you go. Well, since this is a kind of a split or crazy week, and there's not a whole bunch to talk about. Just I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming next week.
Right. As long as Keith isn't dead from COVID, go get
that's
tested.
True. That's true. We might need to make sure he gets a intubation or an intubator or whatever they do. Make sure he gets well. You want to talk about the lines? Let's talk about these games. I think Keith texted in his picks.
I got his text. All right, so we have an advantage tonight in that we don't have to freaking do this over text, as we can actually pick tonight's game. We got the Titans and the 49ers. 49ers going into Tennessee tonight.
Yeah,
I'm picking the 49ers.
And the 49ers are favored by 3, but I am going the opposite way. I'm going with the Titans.
And since Henry's going down, they just are not the same. Deontay Foreman's doing all right, but they just aren't the same.
No, they're not. But
do they get They get.
I got to make up some picks, and we really need the Niners to lose to keep our playoff hopes alive.
By the way, I forgot. We have to check the big board here. The big board says Keith has 120 correct. John has 112. Jesse bringing up the rear, but closely at 111. And remember, everybody, we didn't start picking until week 3 because we don't give a fuck, and we just forgot about it all the way up until then. All right, so the Browns and the Packers. Browns going into Green Bay.
Browns are.
This is Christmas Day, right?
This is Christmas Day, 4:30 game.
Yeah, good. Hope it's
the Browns. They've fallen off a cliff, man. I don't think they have a chance in this game. Green Bay's got 7.5 point favorites. Aaron's COVID toe, seems non-existent. So I'm going with the Packers.
I am going with the Packers as well. And I'm going to say this here at these most joyous of times, at this gorgeous time of year that we love so much. The Browns, who worked so fucking hard, drafting, building, bringing in free agents, making trades to get this team to the point where they thought they could compete for a goddamn conference championship. The Bengals are better than you right now. It's falling through your fingers. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. That shows you right there. And I think everybody at the beginning of this season was on the Browns bandwagon.
Sure. I mean, they built a squad of superstars, right?
And it just shows you that you got to have the franchise quarterback, man. You can't win without a franchise quarterback, or it's very, very hard to, no matter how you build your team.
And Mayfield was a number 1 overall pick. I don't think that it's necessarily him. I think people expect that. I will say this.
He hasn't been playing well.
Well, he's been hurt too. He's been real beat up all year. Both his shoulders are destroyed. People are spoiled by Tom Brady. All right. You people that are 25 and 30 years old, you came up watching Brady and Peyton Manning, and you got to realize how unusual those two are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They are, when you talk about these words, generational talent that gets thrown around to practically everybody that makes a tackle. Ooh, look at that generational talent. No, generational talent is Peyton Manning, meaning I'm almost 60 years old, so I've lived for probably 2.5 generations, I would suppose, and I've seen one of him. I've seen one Tom Brady. I've seen great quarterbacks. I saw John Elway. I saw, Joe Montana.
Marino,
I saw Dan Marino. I saw Terry Bradshaw. I saw all these great quarterbacks, but I never saw anything like those two.
Nope.
And you've been spoiled by this. And you think, especially with Brady, people think this is normal, that you're going to win that many champions. It's not. You're never going to see this.
It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen again. Never.
No. So I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about when I brought that up.
Yeah. I think Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Baker Mayfield. That's right. He has no business being in that conversation. But because he's a first overall pick and there's such hype on these quarterbacks that they expect that he's going to be Peyton Manning or he's going to be this world. And sometimes the best he can be is a decent game manager, which he is. And if you've got the talent around you and you've got a running game like that, that should be well enough to win. You don't need Peyton Manning to win Super Bowls.
No,
you don't. You only need it over the last 20 years because of Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. You got to get past him. Otherwise, you're fucked. So, he set the bar at a different level.
Yeah. But Packers are going to win this game.
Yep, that's where we were. Packers are going to win this game. All right, so I got the Colts and the Cardinals. The Colts and the hapless Cardinals at home. The Cardinals are sliding. Lost to the Lions.
Oh, that is...
Lost to the Lions. Seriously, that's like one of the worst insults you could give a team. Is
Yeah.
you look at them every year and go, "You lost to the Lions."
You remember when we lost to the Lions?
2 or 3 teams every year they can say that. Yes, I do, and I also remember the days when we had not lost to the Lions for literally 50 years.
Look, when we lost to the Lions. They just went through their they had an 0-16 season, and they still, I think it was like week 8, and they still haven't won a game, and we were the team that they beat.
Dude, and we had not lost to them for 50 years.
Yeah.
I will say this forever. Barry Sanders, yay, whoopee-doo, woo-hoo-hoo. The motherfucker only broke 100 yards one time against the Redskins, and he had to have a 52-yard run in the fourth quarter to do it. They shut him down every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, enough of my old.
This is going to be. I think this is going to be a good game. I think the Cardinals are going to be pissed. They're embarrassed. They embarrassed themselves last week when Jared Goff just tore him up. Yeah,
he ripped him a new one.
Cardinals are favored by 1 point, and they're at home. And I think, oh man, I want to pick the Cardinals, but Jesus, the Colts are playing so well.
They really are.
But I'm going to stay with the Cardinals, but I don't like that pick.
All right, I am going to pick the Colts because they are playing that well, and they can do things like keep Kyler Murray over on the bench where he might fall into a cup and be stuck there for the whole game. So, but they can run the ball, and if you can run the ball, the whole cliche is if you can run the ball in December. Well, yeah, okay, but not in the desert inside a fucking room that's like a hotel room, basically, with a football field. That's a whole difference. But they can run it.
Those were both games on Christmas.
Yeah.
So, 4:30 and 8 o'clock. It's nice to have some football on Christmas.
It is. I'll be driving during the first game. For Christmas, I gotta go always do the family thing, which I guess is nice. But God damn it, I've been driving every year for 35 fucking years on Christmas. I get tired of that shit.
Why can't they drive to you?
Because I don't want them here.
Oh, okay. That's good reason. Not the Grinch.
I don't want them here. I don't want anybody here. Get away from me.
Oh shit.
All right. So the Lions now are these awesome Lions that are on a roll. They're playing the Falcons.
You know what? I'm gonna pick the Lions to win. I'm gonna pick the Lions to win 2 in a row.
I was thinking about doing the same damn thing, and I think that I'm not going to. I'm going to take the Falcons, and it's because they're at home, and that's the only reason. And the Lions winning 2 in a row. Just think about
I'm digging myself a hole.
It's not a sentence you say very often.
No, it's not. I've picked. I think this is the second time I've picked the Lions this year, and I'm probably.
It's like the third or fourth time you picked the Lions this year.
You're probably right.
Yeah. My man, you're so down on the Redskins all the time, but you're like, the Lions are going to win today. They're going to win this week.
Well, the Falcons suck.
Yeah, they do. They suck. And not only do they suck, but Matt Ryan has gotten to looking like Big Bird running around out on the field out there. He doesn't really look poised at all. But I think that they've got some decent stuff with Cordero Patterson, and their defense is pretty good. And they're at home. They've been close. I mean, the 49ers beat the shit out of them last week, so I think they're gonna get right against the Lions. They still could smell the playoffs just a little bit, so I think they'll do all right. Yeah. One of the most intriguing games of the week, I think, is the Rams and the Vikings. If this was outside, all right, in Minnesota, this would remind me of one of those games back in the 70s in the playoffs in which Minnesota always beat the Rams and went to the Super Bowl and got beat.
Yeah,
they always did. So, because I'm old and I remember that shit. But the Rams used to have to go up to Minnesota and play in the playoffs all the time. And it was like 2 degrees. That stadium in Bloomington had it had an open end, and the fucking wind would blow across from South Dakota all the way over. Whoosh, and it would just freeze the shit out of everybody. And the Rams couldn't cope. So, but this is going to be inside in a nice, beautiful stadium that looks like a boat.
Yeah, the Rams are going to win this game.
You think? All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take. I'm not. No, because
you're going to take the Vikings.
I'm taking the Vikings. Matt Stafford is Matt Stafford, and Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. But right now, he's going to be more of the Kirk Cousins.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Matt Stafford is going, and Cooper Kupp is going to go for like 200 yards.
See, I can counter by saying I think Kirk Cousins and Jefferson are going to go for 200 yards because that dude's badass. Plus, they've got the Dalvin Cook thing working. I like Jefferson.
I like Jefferson, but I think the Rams got some good defensive backs too.
I guess
Jalen Ramsey
they got
as
names.
well.
They have been susceptible this year to getting toasted.
That's true. But I think they'll pull it off. We'll see.
All right. I'm taking the Vikings in that game. That'll bring me up a game on both of you if I win that one. All right. We have a game that I have been told this. If you are on Santa's naughty list, he is going to force you to watch the Jaguars and the Jets.
Oh God. Wasn't there a shit game last week too? That was awful. Oh,
Yes.
it was the Jets and the Texans.
The Jets
Or
and
Jags,
the Texans.
no, Jags and the Texans.
Seriously, I guarantee you at this time of year, the Jets fans' suicide hotline goes fucking berserk. We watched them play the Texans, and now we got to watch them play the Jaguars. Ah!
Oh man, I think I want to go. Damn, I don't even know how to pick in this. This is a pick 'em game too. There's no favorite. Yeah,
it shouldn't be. It
Um,
shouldn't be. Oh, we're gonna have whoever does this game is gonna have to sit there and say, we've got the number 1 pick against the number 2 pick, and one of them plays like number 1, and the other one plays like number 2, but both of them are playing like number.
I think the Jags are going to win this game.
All right, you're taking the Jaguars because you believe in Santa Claus. I don't know why. I'm taking the Jets in this game. They've at least shown a little bit of fight here and there, and I think overall the weapons are about the same.
Yeah,
But Zach Wilson, I think, has used his just a little bit better.
might be right. You're probably right.
So I'm who knows in this game?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
It's a coin. It's a coin flip.
right? I tell you what, if it was 65 degrees and fucking sunny, I would say it's too cold. I'm not going. Stay home from that game. All right, another shit show of a game is the Giants and the Eagles. The Giants have got, bless them, they're going to try their hearts out to go out there and look like a professional football team, but they're not because fuck them.
Yeah,
hate
Philly's
the
a 10-point favorite. I want the Giants to win this game so bad.
I'd like to see it, but I can't ever bring myself to root for the. I'd root for Al Qaeda first. I just can't. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm only joking there because I happen to know that the head of the FBI listens to the show. Sorry, sir. We're not gonna.
God,
just kidding there. Making jokes.
The Eagles are going to win this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so. They're going to be at home. They're going to be fired
They'll
up.
probably have Jake Fromm. The Giants will have Jake Fromm.
He was pretty good at Georgia when he played.
He wasn't
in
bad.
college. He wasn't bad at all. I thought that he would actually make a halfway decent pro, and I guess he's made it decent enough that he's still in the league somewhere. So there's that. But a lot of you guys that are out there that are constantly thinking that you're quarterback evaluators, good players in college, this is how they end up. They're Jake Fromm. So, all right. So the Bills and the Patriots. I'm also taking the Eagles in that game, by the way, as if anybody needed to ask. The Bills, who have been in a bit of a free fall here and there. You never know what Bills team is going to show up here.
Yeah,
but they're
you
playing the
don't.
Patriots. And the Patriots, if there's one thing the Patriots know how to do, it's kick the shit out of the Buffalo Bills.
That's true.
They sure do.
Who are you
They sure
picking
do.
in this game?
I am picking the New England Patriots. They lost last week. Bill Belichick is not going to put up with that shit 2 times in a row in December. Nope. The Patriots are going to come out on fire, and they are going to say to big, stupid, gorky Josh Allen, look, if you're going to run and beat us, we're going to bust you up. And they will.
Yeah, Keith picked the Bills in this, and this is a pick'em game to me, even though New England's favored by 2.5. But I guess I'm going to go to the Patriots. So I don't like that pick either.
Well, then change it. You know he's making you.
Maybe I'll change it Sunday morning.
Okay, I'll be watching the text. But yeah, Bill Belichick in December. I can't.
That's true.
All right, the Ravens and the Bengals. By the way, all of you Washington football team fans last week, I hope everybody jerked off good and hard for the Ravens backup quarterback that everybody watched and fell in love with all over again.
He was good
The other night. He was good, but at the same time, honestly, it's every single backup quarterback that completes a pass somewhere in the NFL. Twitter goes berserk. Oh, man, look at this guy. Ooh.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Like, I wonder what his contract said. I wonder if we can get a first-round pick for him. Yeah. It was like,
so what do you think about the call at the end of the game last week where they went for 2?
I don't listen. I thought I was okay with it. I mean, you're going to give Aaron Rodgers, 45 seconds left to go in and try to kick a field goal. They didn't have no defensive backs. He went to his team and said, hey, if we make this touchdown, do y'all want to go for 2 or do you want to go for the tie? He Harbaugh talked to his team before.
Well, but you got to realize the team has been hitting the head all day.
That's true too. That's true.
Yeah,
I
they're taking blows to the head.
I necessarily did not mind the call, but the optics of it is he did it 2 weeks in a row and it failed 2 times in a row.
I think the problem with it is, it is Rodgers, all right, and you can't take the chance with him because he had been playing well in that second half. They'd been scoring, he'd been moving the ball. My problem with it is if you've got this kid quarterback in there who's playing okay, don't call one of these rollout fucking plays where you condense the field even more.
That's true.
You made it almost impossible for him to make that throw. He made a bad throw. It was behind the tight end, but that he focused on immediately because the wide receiver, I can't remember his name, is running clean across the back line. All he had to do was turn his shoulders just a little bit. He'd have had it. But I just don't like that call because you're already in a condensed situation. Spread it out, man. Fucking spread it out and try to get that defense to create some holes. By doing that, you're flooding everybody over to one side. You got to make a perfect play. And he's, I don't think you can count on a guy at that stage of his career to make a perfect play. So that's what I have to say about it. So is Jackson back? When's he coming back?
He didn't practice today. I saw. So
it's cold outside today.
It's cold. Yeah, still got a bum ankle. And to be honest, even if Jackson was playing, I don't think I would pick the Ravens. I think the Bengals are hot. They're 3.5-point favorites, and I think I'm going to pick the Bengals.
I am also going to pick the Bengals. The Ravens they're hurt on the defensive backs as well, and I think that the Bengals wide receivers should have a field day. They're at home. I think that crowd's going to be good and frothy because, as we just pointed out before, they're better than the Browns all of a sudden.
They are.
All right, the Chargers and the Texans. The Chargers. Did you see the tweet that the quarterback sent out last week?
Yeah, that was fake.
Herbert sent out last week.
It was.
That was fake.
Yes, that was fake. It was good as hell, but it was fake. He doesn't have a Twitter account. I laughed my ass off.
I would have loved that to be true. And considering that it is America and it's 2021, then I'm just going to go ahead and say it's true. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I don't believe actual reality or facts or anything. Fuck it. I think it's true. Then it's true. All right, so they're playing the Texans this week, who pulled off a magnificent win last week against the fucking Jets. So, but for them, it is, right? For them, it's a magnificent win. The Chargers are going in to watch Deshaun Watson sit on the bench for another game, and I think that they should mop up the floor with the Texans.
Yeah,
they should win by 30.
They're a 10-point favorite. They should be a 25.5-point favorite.
I'd still take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 points. That's very
not
very good.
Keith is going with the Texans.
Is that what he said?
No, but we should pretend he is.
That's right. He is going with the Texans. I see it right here on this text that he sent me. I'm going with the Texans, the Giants. Let's see, what else did he pick? He took the Jaguars. He took the Ravens.
Yeah. Oh, he took the Browns too.
You know what he's saying right now, listening to this? All right. So I guess you're taking the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the Bucks and the Panthers. The Panthers, who the fuck knows what they're gonna do? I mean, Jesus Christ. All of you folks still that want to, I don't think there's anybody left that is still on the Cam Newton wagon, right?
Oh God, if they are, they need some serious mental therapy.
You can see why everybody was down on him, right? It's not because of anything other than how he plays the game.
Been saying it since the offseason. Cam Newton is done. And
he's washed.
It just is. It just is. So all those people that cuss me out. All those people that cuss me out saying that he's not done and we should have gone and got him. Yeah, here's a big fuck you to you because I was right.
Well, he might be able to catch on and continue his career as a backup someplace. He might be able to trust him for a game or coming off the bench.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to, if he's going to do that, he's going to have to be a little, by all intents and by all accounts, he up in New England, he was a good teammate. Even after they drafted Mac Jones,
I think he's always been a good teammate. I believe.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a concern.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's got starter in him anymore.
No, he's just got he just has to know his role, and his role is a number 2 quarterback.
So in that role, I think that he's going to get the shit beat out of him by Tom Brady. He's going to
they're probably pissed off that they didn't score any points against the Saints last week, and they're going to take it out on the poor Panthers.
I can't say whether I hope so or not, but I do, because I got Gronkowski. I'm in the playoffs, and I really want to win. So
there you go.
I hope so, because Gronk didn't have a good game last week either. So throw it to the guy that's trying to commit insurance fraud on TV all the time. Sounds good to me. Oh, all right. So the Bears are playing the Seahawks up in Seattle, where the 12th man doesn't matter anymore because they just couldn't care less anymore. They're not allowed anymore. Nobody cares.
But the Seahawks have won 2 in a row, didn't they? No, they did not. They lost last week.
They lost last week to the Rams. Tuesday night.
They're not going to lose against the Bears.
All right. So Keith is also picking the Seahawks. I, on the other hand, I'm going to go for the upset. I'm taking the Bears. They've had 2 pretty decent games in a row. They've got some guys that are starting to emerge. I think that Montgomery is a decent back.
I like David Montgomery. I do.
Montgomery's a decent back. I think that you're starting to see some progress out of Justin Fields, although not a whole lot right off the top. But I'm blanking on these 2 receivers, the one that's the kickoff returner and the other receiver. I can't remember his goddamn name right now. But they've got some speed working for them.
Yeah.
And it's doing rather well. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bears in the upset. The Bears.
I think Nagy's a terrible coach, too. Yeah. I think the Bears are going to be looking for a new coach in the offseason.
I'm going to Google this because it's going to bother my memory if I don't. Bears receivers. Oh, Darnell Mooney. God damn it. How didn't I know that? And Jakeem Grant. Mooney. How didn't I know that? God damn it. All right. So, yeah, Darnell Mooney and Jakeem Grant, I think, are going to lead.
They have Allen Robinson, too, but he's, I think, on injury reserve.
Yeah, he's out. All right. The Broncos and the Raiders. The Raiders, who pulled off the miracle against the hapless Browns, who, as we have shown, are not as good as the Bengals, despite their best efforts. The Raiders, man, that was a hell of an interesting game right there. The way they pulled that out at the end, that was fun. All right, and by the way, I love 5:00 football, man. On Monday afternoon, I fucking love it. I love it
absolutely. This is a pick'em game too. But I think I'm gonna go with the Broncos on this one, man.
Is Bridgewater gonna play?
I don't know.
Yeah, because they said he's fine. I don't know whether he's in concussion protocol or not, but when he went down, he landed on his neck like that. That was kind of funky.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also going to go with the Broncos because I think they've got the running game. I think they're hungrier than the Raiders right now. It's in Las Vegas, but I don't think that's going to matter. I like Melvin Gordon, and I like here I go again. God damn it. Me and my fucking memory right now. Jesus freaking Christ. If there was only certain things that I didn't do to myself to cause myself to have such short-term memory loss.
Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
Yes, Javonte Williams, who I have on my fantasy team. And sorry, I'm high on my fantasy team this week because
you're high on something.
Plus, I got security clearance. I don't do that shit anymore. But for all of you that listen now that didn't or did listen to my old podcast, I am playing Tom this week in the playoffs. So
Tom Brady.
How much fun that could be. No. my old podcast partner for the Bang Radio.
Oh, okay.
Those who were listeners know who I'm talking about. You clearly were not a listener. Now I
no.
have to have words with you. Well, you should have been.
No.
Life would be.
Did I pick this game?
You picked the Broncos. All right, Steelers and the Chiefs.
Maybe I'm the one that's high. I don't know.
I'm drinking Deer Park water today, and that's it.
Steelers and
the Chiefs.
Oh, come on, Chiefs
in Kansas City.
Chiefs by a lot.
Steelers.
Steelers are 7-6. How is that? They suck. 7-6
They've managed to get some teams at home, and they've played pretty well against them. Last week, you guys picked against them. I picked the Steelers because I figured that they would be able to pull off a game against the Titans, who are, I think, skating around. They're watching the playoffs slip through their fingers, man. They're really They miss Derrick Henry that much. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one, though, because the Chiefs are as red hot as anybody. And That's just the way it is. Their fucking offense is clicking like it always does, and their defense is 10 times better than it was last year. I think they are.
Remember in the beginning of the season,
good.
the Chiefs are done. They don't have it no more. Shit.
Those were stupid people that you should never listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dolphins and the Saints on Monday Night Football. This is a fun game.
Dolphins are going to beat the shit out of the Saints, I think. I don't think this game's going to be close. I know Saints have a lot of players out with COVID, but they don't have any quarterbacks. And even if they had Taysom Hill or Trevor Seaman, I was going to.
They still didn't have any quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly. So Dolphins definitely.
Winning 7 in a row is hard to do. I mean, and that sounds like a cliche because it is a cliche. And the fact of the matter is, it's a cliche because as you stack those victories up, eventually you're going to fall off. Eventually, it's just going to stop. And I don't see it happening this week. I like the Dolphins. I like them at home. I like Tua Tagovailoa. That motherfucker is playing balls out. I like it.
Tua
Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah, Tua. He's playing well. Yeah, he's playing well.
Tagovailoa.
Somebody hit him. He's stuck.
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. So and I also Jalen Waddle should be back. I like him, and Devontae Parker
I
is
love
coming up
Waddle.
playing well.
Waddle's awesome. I have him on my sleeper league, my dynasty league.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I like the Dolphins in that game. Which brings us, of course, to the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys. Keith has picked the Cowboys. I am making sure everybody knows that.
I'm going to pick the Washington football team to win this game.
No, you are not. You are?
Yeah. Hey,
Santa Claus is listening.
I gotta switch my bag up because it didn't work past 2 weeks. So.
You're lying. You know what happens to liars? Their TVs get locked on the Jags and the Jets, and you can't change the channel. You're taking the Washington football team, are you really?
Fuck no.
All right. Well, see, now that's where you go and get me all fucked up. Now I'm not going to be able to believe what you say. All right. I am going to go ahead and take the Washington football team, though, because I always take the Washington football team, and I don't know why, but
because you're Larry Michael Jr. The skin tangibles.
They've got the skin tangibles. God, listening to Larry Michael.
Did you ever watch Redskins Nation?
I tended to get tired of Larry Michael and his rah-rah bullshit.
He would when it comes to game picks, he'd pick him every single time.
Oh, I know. And it was a joke. And the skin tangibles was a joke. The only thing about Larry Michael is I will always have a soft spot for Larry Michael because there was the time in my life that I was driving a truck and it was on a Sunday. Saturdays and Sundays, I'm driving this fucking truck. And he did a show on WJFK, right? This was way back in the day. Which was like a Sunday afternoon, 1:00 in the middle of summer Redskins show in May and June. And I was like, oh, thank God. Otherwise, there's no way I could do this job. I'd had something to listen to on the fucking radio.
Every day he did every day, and even the off season, Redskins Nation would come on every day. I had DVR. I'd come back from like vacation or something. I had fucking 25 Redskins Nation. I had to delete them all off the damn DVR because it only hold like so many hours.
I would also suggest that Larry Michael holds the record in Redskins Park for the person that takes the most anti-constipation medicine. I just can't ever see that guy anything but backed up. So anyway, that's a nice thought to end on. Merry Christmas,
there
everybody.
You go. Yeah.
Larry Michael's constipation.
Jesus Christ.
All right, we're hoping for a victory. We'll be back on Monday, I suppose. All right, yeah, holidays are over. Everybody's done being sick. Jesse, it's your turn to get sick. He's got COVID. Go get tested.
I'm going to try not to. Yes, go get tested, Keith.
Yeah.
And
I had the Swiss Miss the other day with marshmallows.
Okay.
Yeah. Gross. Disgusting.
Well,
there's nothing left to say now.
Go check out hogfarmerscharity.org and we'll see you.
Yeah, there's still time left before Christmas. Go give them some money at hogfarmerscharity.org, and let's go get a victory against the Dallas Cowboys. Fuck Jerry Jones.
Yeah, fuck Jerry Jones.
Hey, you know what? Real quick, one more thing.
Sure.
Speaking of this Jerry Jones, the bench.
Oh God,
the bench. the bench. What do you think of the bench?
I could care less. And Washington fans, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. Washington fans cried more about this fucking bench.
The bench.
More about this fucking bench than the Philly media cried about moving the fucking game. It was pathetic. It was pathetic.
It was ridiculous. I couldn't fucking believe it. This bullshit with people talking about he's just copying. We don't have the cred for that. What are you, fucking a 10-year-old? Honest to God, he's copying. Follow Jesse. What is this cliche? The NFL is a copy league.
Copycat league.
Because when things work, people do it. And you know what? What I was trying to explain to people was, okay, you think it looks like he's trying to fucking suck on Jerry's knob, but the fact of the matter is now he doesn't have to worry about whether the Giants or the Eagles are going to monkey over with the fucking heating on the bench like the Seattle Seahawks said we were doing.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm thinking too. I'm thinking this too. Right? It's a thought. You don't know if Dan Snyder did this for one, okay? Because he doesn't.
That's his money.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Ron Rivera had to sign off on that shit. Two. You don't know who got these benches first. You don't know if Jerry got, because that was a quick turnaround.
Right. It was a home game.
Was it not a quick turnaround that they made those benches for the Washington football team? What if
the benches are made? They just had to slap some decals on them.
Maybe, possibly. What if Jerry Jones found out what old Snyder was doing and decided to get his own benches? And since we had the home game first, he pulled them out.
What he said was that the Seattle Seahawks had said that the heaters on our benches on the sidelines were faulty. All right. So here's the thing. For all of you people that are crying about how it makes you look or Jesus Christ, what are you in third grade? Oh my God, grow the fuck up. Gamesmanship exists. All right. The fact that our heaters on our sidelines for the opposing fans didn't work, for the opposing team didn't work, might not have been that, Dan Snyder's too cheap to buy good fucking benches. It might be that they were fucking with them to fuck with the opponent. All right. Do you know who turns off the heat in the locker room? The Green Bay Packers. They will turn off the heat in the opposing locker room on those fucking days when it's 10 degrees outside. It exists. All right. You ever hear when a coaches bitch all the time when they go to play the Patriots in Gillette Field that their fucking headsets don't work right? What's going on?
Exactly. You know,
Mike Tomlin
does it all the time. All the time.
I have audio from my former podcast of Mike Tomlin upset, pissed off after a game, saying that I ain't going to say much about it, but everybody knows what goes on in here. Everybody knows what's going on in here. When somebody asked him about it, he said that for half the first half, he was hearing the fucking Patriots radio call. Their radio broadcast was coming through his headset. He was hearing play-by-play. So, gamesmanship exists, and it has always existed. And now that's one aspect of it we don't have to worry about. I don't see what the problem is.
I had zero. Actually, I retweeted. I said it was amazing. I'm glad they did it. Because you know what?
Fuck it.
Who fucking cares, man? People,
right?
His fans are so stupid sometimes.
It embarrassed them. Oh, we looked like copycats. Oh my God. Are you people adults? Holy fucking shit.
It was so pathetic. It was pathetic.
No shit.
Pathetic.
No shit. Why do you think people buy Corvettes? They're way fucking expensive, but one guy bought one and got some pussy, and now all these guys want them forever and ever and ever.
There you go.
That's why anything happens.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's about it.
That's going to be about it.
That's
about it.
So go ahead and say your thing.
Hail to the team.
And Merry Christmas to you and everybody.
Merry Christmas. Be good. Test. Yes, please, sir. Don't be spreading the COVID through here. All right. Later.